नमस्कार, स्वागत है आपका अपने पसंदीदा प्रोग्राम मेहमान में, जहां हम आपकी मुलाकात कुछ ऐसे खास लोगों से कराते हैं जिन्होंने भारत को गौरवान्वित किया। Our guest today is the very iconic Yog Guru, founder of ISHA Foundation. Yogi, mystic, poet, visionary, passionate about the cause of rivers and environment, and unfailingly witty, it is indeed my privilege and pleasure today to welcome Sadhguru. Welcome to the program, Sadhguru, and we are delighted to talk to you. पहले मैं आपसे ये जानना चाहूँगी Sadhguru, India interestingly gets its name from a river, and yet somewhere we've lost the bond. So what is Rally for Rivers to the common man?
Rally for Rivers as a movement was 2 years ago, and the main purpose of that was to raise awareness in India about the condition of our rivers, which is alarming, and also to change the national policy as to how we handle our rivers. Fortunately, India responded in a huge way. 162 million people supported the movement in 30 days' time. As you know, I personally drove from Kanyakumari to Himalayas myself, 9,300 kilometers, 142 events, 184 interviews, and driving 18 to 20 hours a day. All the 16 states, the chief ministers participated. At that time, the 16 states were ruled by 6 different political parties, but all of them came together across the spectrum. And they put this through whatever scientific and economic test, and the Niti Aayog within 2.5 months, they made this the official recommendation for all the 29 states. It was sent as official recommendation. So in policy, we have Rally for Rivers recommendations in every state. About 4 states are very proactively implementing this. Others are in various stages of debate and discussion about this. But right now, as a part of this, we're also doing a hands-on project in Vagadi River in Yavatmal. So our volunteers are there on the ground, implementing it along with the government agency. We have put volunteers to ensure that every family in the Vagadi region are contactable, because we want to make sure none of the suicides happen. We are trying to change their economic condition by changing the agricultural patterns that they were doing earlier. Now the Kaveri calling is a major movement. Here there are 3 dimensions to this. One is the farmer, another is the government, because the government needs to give some incentives, and then it's a larger society. In terms of the farmers, for the last 18 years, we have converted 69,760 farmers into agroforestry. And we have seen within 5 to 7 years, the farmer's income goes up anywhere between 300 to 800%. So this is a proven model, it's not that we're experimenting with the farmer, it's a well-proven model. Only thing is, right now, we've been treating timber as a forest produce. Now we want to change that. We are pushing the government to form a timber board so that timber will be treated as an agro-produce, not as a forest produce. Because India's forests have reached a place, no further commercial exploitation of the forest is possible. We should not touch the forest, it's over. For tribals and others who live in the forest, they use some small things, that is okay. Commercial exploitation of forest is must be history in this country. There's no way to touch that again. So timber can only come from agroforestry. Our focus right now is to convert 1/3 of Kaveri Basin into agroforestry. Converting 1/3 of Kaveri Basin means it is 85,000 square kilometers. This means we must plant, or farmers must plant, some 242 crore trees. This will greatly enhance farmers' income, But in the first 2 years, there may be a drop in income of 15 to 20%. In the second 2 years, there may be a drop of 25 to 30%. On the fourth, fifth year, there may be a drop of 50%. For this, we've been pushing for the governments, the Karnataka and Tamil Nadu governments, to give subsidy so that this loss in income is taken care of. Both the governments have come to this, that they've agreed that they will pay the subsidies. Whatever the loss of revenue that happens will be compensated for every farmer. So now that threshold has been crossed. Now the big problem is how to raise 242 crore trees. So for that we are crowdsourcing the money, because we want to set up 350 large nurseries along the Kaveri basin. Right now we have 32 nurseries, we want to go the scale up, because no particular department or private agency, nobody has the capacity to raise this volume of saplings. What we are doing right now is, about 45 vehicles with LED screens are making rounds in the Kaveri basin. Till today, they've covered around 6,500 villages. There's a phenomenal response from the farmers, because these LED screens are showing them what is agroforestry, how to do it, what are the benefits, how the benefits come, the whole aspect of it. Seeing these things and also our volunteers being there educating them, the farmers are responding absolutely positively. How this works is, it's like this. See, in the last 100 years, our rainfall has not come down. The volume of rain that is happening in this country in the form of monsoons has not come down, because monsoon is the only source of water we have. Rivers, lakes, ponds, wells are not the source of water, they're only the destinations for water. So this water that's coming in the form of rain, it should percolate down into the earth and enrich the soil. Instead of that, it's running away on the surface. If you have substantial vegetation, naturally it would percolate. All the studies show, if you plant 10,000 trees in congruent land, 38 million to 45 million liters of water you can sequester and augment the water in the land. So based on this calculation, this 242 crores, if you plant this much, the volume of water sequestered in the land will be somewhere between 9 to 12 trillion liters. To give you a perspective of what is 12 trillion liters, right now the Kaveri's flow, annual flow, is 21.2 trillion liters. If 12 trillion liters of water goes into the soil, our aquifers will be rich, lakes will be full, ponds will be full, wells will be full, and definitely Kaveri will come up, because right now in the last 25 years, Kaveri has depleted by about 44%.
Actually, Sadhguru, even the Gangotri has depleted by say 19 kilometers. You're also going ahead and making many campaigns about that as well. But before that, I have a question. You mentioned trees, Sadhguru. So trees, you've been saying not coconut trees. I want to understand which other trees that you advocate be planted.
See, it's agroforestry is a whole science by itself. There are a variety of patterns we can do with agroforestry. The one basic module is like this, about 750 softwood trees will go, which will grow up and come for cropping within 4 to 4.5 years. And another 750 hardwood trees will grow. So these hardwood trees, you can further go with, there are certain crops as vines, like the beetle leaf or pepper. These kind of crops can come on the hardwood trees. Or you can, at the age of 10 or 12 years, you can chop 375 of the hardwood trees. The remaining 375 grow into much bigger timber over a period of 15 to 20 years' time. And there are many other patterns like this. So it depends on the farmer's choice, it also depends on the soil and various other parameters in terms of water availability, how what kind of terrain, slopes, topography, various aspects. Accordingly, we advise the farmer, but still ultimately it's the farmer's choice. Or they can go for 1/3 of the farm as trees, and in between regular crops can be cultivated. Most crops grow much better with the leaves of the trees falling, because this is the way the land gets enriched. There are only two ways to enrich the land, leaves of the trees and the animal waste. If these two things are missing, which is missing right now, the land is going fallow. Right now, 42% of the land in Tamil Nadu has been declared as fallow. That means you can't grow anything there.
And also, like you said, animals, it's a very important thing to understand, especially for the children of this generation, that the earth belongs to them as well, and we need to treat them with that kind of respect. Also about agroforestry, Sadhguru, India is rice producing nation and a wheat producing nation. So somewhere we need to, tell the farmer that you can go in for mango trees and maybe that becomes commercially viable. I would like to know more.
See, India was not a rice and wheat producing nation as it is today. This has happened not because of cultural reasons, not happened because of nutritional reasons. Why Indian people have become in such a way that they're consuming a single cereal is, unfortunately in the past, out of some sort of wisdom that I don't want to dissect now, they gave minimum support price only for rice, wheat and sugarcane. So that is why everybody wants to grow that. So we've been pushing for this, now central government has announced support price for millets, which is a very, very positive step. Now the support price for ragi is higher than that of the rice. But culturally we gotten reversed, all the people who were using millets and they were healthy, unfortunately everybody shifted to rice eating, which is taking a huge toll. It is not that there is something wrong with rice, it is a single cereal diet which is causing the problem. In Tamil Nadu, they say 42% or 43% of the male population is diabetic. Right now, the organic content of the soil has gone down. United Nations gives this prescription. If you want to call soil as soil, there must be 2% organic content. Right now in Tamil Nadu, the organic content average is 0.68%. So that means all this soil in another 10 years' time will be unusable, almost the whole of it.
I read somewhere that you said, interestingly, that we may have a second partition of India if we are not wise enough. Could you elaborate that?
I did not say partition, I said you could lose a large part of your geography to what is called as marine ingress. Because I hear so many people, even people who are holding a certain responsible positions, sometimes various influencers talking about this, water is going waste into the ocean, we must stop it, we must use it. As you earlier said, this land and this water and this planet is not just made for you and me, there are other creatures also which have to live. And if we are not here, they can still live. But if they are not here, we cannot live. That is the nature of the life. So, it is very important, at least 50% of the river water must go into the ocean. If 50% does not go in, because of population pressure, if we cannot allow that much, at least 25 to 30% of the river water must go into the ocean. If this does not go, the marine water will ingress into the land. Looking at the Indian, the formation of the substrata, how it is, it can come inside into the land, marine water or salt water can come into the land approximately 100 to 130 kilometers. We have 7,400 kilometers of coastline. 100 kilometers if it comes in, if you make a calculation, it's approximately about the same size of land which we partitioned as Pakistan at one time. So in that context, I said it's like going to be like one more partition, because once you're not able to grow anything, this has happened already in Tamil Nadu, nearly 60 kilometers inland, so salt water has come. All the wells which had sweet water 15 years ago, today if you go and see, everything is salt water, nothing can be done there, no agriculture. So when this happens, people will migrate. So in a way, you have lost 1/3 of the land, and people are migrating in more concentration to those areas where there is good water. That's bound to happen, which will cause enormous amount of civil strife, which we should definitely avoid.
Sadhguru, Kaveri calling is a phenomenal campaign. Now, Kaveri, remaining Kaveri is important for us and for our generations. It should not become a stream. So, you're doing something more for this, you're having another rally. Tell us about that.
So, this has been on for some time now, and as I said, it took nearly 1.5 to 2 years to get this subsidy thing approved in the governments. Particularly in Karnataka, we had a challenge because since we started, there have been three different governments. So it has been quite a task to get the files moving and get it, but fortunately, now both Tamil Nadu and Karnataka are passing the law or the sanction of subsidies for the loss of revenue that happens to the farmer, which is a significant step. But now we are riding from Talakaveri, which is the source of the river, to Tiruvarur and to Chennai, which is the delta region where Kaveri joins the ocean. We must understand this, nearly 5.5 months, Kaveri is not touching the ocean. It stops about 175 kilometers is where it stopped in 2018. Every year it is coming up further, approximately 4 to 8 kilometers per year. If you look at this rate, probably in another 25 to 40 years' time, Kaveri will never enter Tamil Nadu. That's where it's going. And right now the water distress in Tamil Nadu is very huge. Unfortunately, everybody thinks water distress happened only when Chennai ran out of water. No, the rural distress has been there for 25–30 years and it's been building up. But now when it happens in the city, fortunately it gets at least media focus and everybody's focus. The world is aware that there is a water distress, but the water distress has been there for 25 years. I've been watching this with great concern that steadily the Kaveri has been depleting, but particularly in the last 7–8 years, the depletion is very high because the spread of the monsoon has come down. If you look back and look at the rain records, you will see 35 years ago, the spread of monsoon was between 100 to 140 days per year. When it rained for 140 days, keeping the water in the land for 365 days was easy. Now the spread has come down to 40 to 75 days. Now more rain is happening in a short span of time, so your ability to absorb is much lower, particularly because there's no vegetation, it's leading to flood. Flood and drought you're reporting every day in about the same places. So wherever flood and drought are not two different problems, it's the same problem. When the rain happens, if the water does not percolate in and runs on the surface, that's flood. If it ran away on the surface, within 3 to 4 months, you will have a drought.
I'm reminded now of Samuel Taylor Coleridge when he said, water, water everywhere, but not a drop to drink. But you've created so much awareness, Sadhguru. For the children, you had this competition where they reported Kaveri as a wraith, because they saw it like that, not as a river. So, my question to you is, Sadhguru, what about the northern states? I hope Rally for Rivers has gone there and, campaigned as well. What is the outcome?
See, some states, as I said, Maharashtra has been very proactive. Odisha has been very active. Chhattisgarh, Assam, all the states have been very proactive by themselves. We also have MOUs with about 6 states, but some other states are going little slow on it. See, the reason why we are in Kaveri, there are a variety of scientific reasons why we are doing it there, because we will be able to revive Kaveri much faster than any other northern rivers. There are many geographical reasons for this. Apart from that, in the UN we launched what is called as a decade of action for water. When I explained to them, this is my plan, this is the way to do it, they all said, Sadhguru, this is a fantastic plan, this is doable and it'll work. Only thing is, the way the institutions in the world work is, there needs to be a demonstrable model. So in terms of demonstration, Kaveri is the best choice for a variety of reasons, I will not go into those scientific reasons. So in 6 to 8 years' time, if we get to show that there is increase in the flow of Kaveri and farmers' income is increased and rural economy is buzzing because of that, if that happens, then you can't stop it. Once farmers see this is a very lucrative way of doing things, then you don't need any campaign, it'll just go by itself.
Sadhguru, one more point here. There was a law about the felling of trees, which you've also spoken about. Tell us about that.
See, right now, felling of trees is considered a crime. These are good-intentioned but misunderstood laws. Because if you grow a tree in your own land and if you cut it, you could be arrested. Nobody wants to grow a tree. Now some relaxation has happened. In the last term of the central government, they released 18 species. Some states have released certain species, other species they're not releasing. But general attitude is high-value trees are not released. For example, sandalwood. Sandalwood is something that we have always grown naturally here, and we have used it for thousands of years for variety of purposes. But today we are importing sandalwood from Australia. Australia took Indian variety of sandalwood there. They are growing it in great numbers and exporting it to us. This is happening because you won't allow it to grow. Now Karnataka and Tamil Nadu have relaxed this, that you can grow sandalwood and use it. But still, if you cut it, there are some 5 different forms online you have to fill, and you can only sell it to the government. So I'm pushing for a law. If a farmer grows something, whatever he grows should belong to him.
Sadhguru, you mentioned something about sources of water where you said river is the destination, not a source of water. Similarly, people think it's glacial waters also that are coming, but I think that is very less.
In India, only 4% of our rivers are glacial water. Even in that 4%, more than 3% of the glacial water is either coming from Nepal or China. So what is coming from Indian Himalayas is a very small amount. So rest is all forest fed, and forest is fed only by the monsoon. So in India, glacial water is not relevant except the flooding that you have from Nepal, which is partially glacial water.
Do you think, Sadhguru, we could have some capsules for children in school in collaboration with the MHRD ministry for Kaveri calling, so that we can make it a movement? Now with the Amazon fires on, there is so much awareness happening about how to protect the earth globally, everything on the earth, including water.
See, the Amazon needs fire to burn it down. But Kaveri is evaporating even without fire, it's burning. The sun itself burns us. If we don't put the land under shade, the sun will burn the life out of us. So our intention is to put Kaveri basin and the nation, at least 1/3 of the nation must be in shade. Why I'm saying this is, if you fly from Delhi to Coimbatore or Kanyakumari, if you look down every 2 minutes, you will see India looks like a brown desert, except for a few patches and Western Ghats. Rest of it looks like a brown desert, because nobody grows a tree in the farmland because he cannot use it. It is time farmer must clearly be made clear, that's why we are wanting to form a timber board. That is, timber must be treated as agricultural produce, not as forest produce.
Sadhguru, on a lighter note, I'd like to ask you the difference between yog and bhog, because इसमें बहुत विरोधाभास होता है कई बार, because you're seen as a iconic yogi of our times who's contemporary, and well, you play golf. Tell us more.
Well, now as part of Kaveri calling, I'm riding a motorcycle. So riding a motorcycle, well, is it yoga or bhoga? You must decide. I think it's yoga. If everything that you do, you're using it as a way to enhance the possibility of life. If everything that you do is a process of liberation for you, not a process of entanglement, then every act that you do, the way you sit, the way you stand, the way you walk, the way you breathe, everything is yoga. If you're using it as entanglement, then it is called karma. But if you use the same karma for liberation, that's called karma yoga. So this is karma yoga.
The question once again, you love playing golf, you are also a scuba diver, you're also a certified helicopter pilot. If there's anything I'm missing out, please enlighten me.
Oh, there are many more things you're missing. These days there's not much time to do many things I used to do. So little bit of golf is the only thing alive, rest of the things there's no time. So if Kaveri flows once again, maybe I'll take some time and do all the other things.
I'm very sure Kaveri is going to get that momentum, given all the work that you're putting into it. Is there somebody, Sadhguru, who inspired you for Rally for Rivers? What is it that vision, that thing that came to your mind when you started this? Because we want many others to think the way you did.
See, my engagement and involvement with Kaveri is not today. I was born around Kaveri, I grew up around that. Because I didn't find anything very interesting in the school, I largely spent around the river. So my experience and involvement with the river is not as an environmentalist, or nor did I see river as a source of water, how can we use it, these things never came to me. I was around the river as any other worm, insect or a little fish would be in the river. My engagement with the river is like that. I lived on the river, for weeks on I floated down the river. So, for me, what I saw was Kaveri was a magnificent and huge, massive life. I was a puny little thing, like a worm or an insect, you come and go. But she's been flowing for millions of years, but in the last 25 years, we have put her down on her knees. I want her to again stand up and flow in glory.
Your vision for India, my last question to you, Sadhguru. 2030, how do you see India?
Whole lot of people are thinking India should become a superpower. I am not for India becoming a superpower, because people who call themselves as superpowers are always seeing how to exploit somebody for their well-being. That's not our ethos. That's not the nature of India. We are not about becoming a superpower. We are about empowering the world. India has the necessary knowledge and wisdom to empower the whole world for a better life. And I think that is where we must establish ourselves. Of course, there are issues of economy, there are issues of nourishment, there are issues of poverty. Many people have been unfortunately left behind. This is why I'm saying those who are left behind are largely in the rural regions of this country. And this agroforestry, this movement that we have started in the form of Kaveri calling, could be a substantial answer for that. Because without fertile and rich soil and water, rural life cannot be good. If we do this one thing, I think rural economies will buzz, life in rural India will be much better. If we do that one thing, I think we have taken a massive step towards well-being.
And on that very pragmatic note, I'd like to say more power to you, more power to this campaign, Sadhguru. Thank you so much for talking to us today.
Namaskar.
And to all our viewers, हम आपसे अनुरोध करते हैं कि इस जल जीवन है को और जल शक्ति को आप एक आंदोलन बनाएं, कावेरी कॉलिंग को एक मोमेंटम दें और इसे अपनाएं। We'll be back again next week with yet another guest. Thank you so much for watching. Many thanks. Namaskar.